2026 has been the year of people leaving dating apps. In the UK, apparently 500,000 people have left Tinder in this year alone. On top of that, we hear stats that for every swipe right that a woman does, she gets a match 10% of the time, whereas for men, it's 0.6% of the time. And we also hear that there are more men on dating apps than women. Many are frustrated and disillusioned with dating apps. And if you're in your 20s or your 30s, we're sure you've experienced this. Swiping, not getting matches, messaging, not getting responses, or being ghosted during what you thought was an enjoyable conversation or before a date. Over time, it starts to affect your confidence. You start to build a story about what the silence or the stats mean about you and your worth and value. But that's exactly what it is, a story. In this video, we will look at the dating app statistics, what the numbers say, what your brain is telling you about them, and how to rewrite your story and find your confidence again. Let's get into it. Welcome to the YouTube channel for Catch. My name is Sam and I'm the founder here at Catch. Unshakable confidence is the key to getting everything that you want out of life, evidenced through us working with 15,000 leaders globally. So on this channel, we help you to build that unshakable confidence and become the most unstoppable version of you. If you need support with your confidence, we have 2 digital workbooks to help you build your confidence at home and at your own pace, one on dating and one to shift your identity. And those are both available on our website, unstoppablewithcatch.com. And we also offer one-to-one coaching that is booked up, and there's more availability from the end of July, August time. In the meantime, we have email coaching available, so check that all out in the description box below. The first thing to interrogate is the data that we're seeing and whether that is accurate. So as mentioned at the start, there are stats that circle online about the number of users on dating apps such as Tinder, how many men versus women there are, the percentage of matches for men and women, and who those matches go to. So there's a lot of rumours about only the top 20% of people getting matches. And then combine that with initial negative experiences on dating apps, it's easy to write them off altogether or make it personal to us and our worth, value, and attractiveness. However, what's important to note is that these statistics are sometimes rumours and there isn't published data to back them up. Or if there is published data, it's often come from one dating app in one territory or country for a specific period of time, such as 1 year. So that doesn't mean that the dating app you're using now is being used the same way as when that data was valid or applies to your territory. Humans are pattern-seeking machines. Our brain and our nervous system looks for patterns, understand and predict what's going on around us, and keep us safe. That means, whether it's true or not, when we see this data and combine that with our own experiences and experiences of our friends, whether it's true or not, our brain and our nervous system will come to a conclusion about what that means. They will start to tell their own story to make us feel safe and predict the future. The problem is, often those stories become personal about us, our attractiveness, our worth and value, and that we are the common denominator, or that it's hopeless or helpless because of these statistics. Now, it feels logical, but the data doesn't necessarily cause the story. We don't know whether the data is accurate, as we mentioned before. We don't know if it applies to us and whether that's the reason that we're having particular experiences or not. We don't know how the algorithm works, and we don't know the reasons that we're having the experiences that we are. So if you are a man that is on a dating app where 65 to 75% of the users are men, then statistically it is going to be harder for you to get matches. Also, we're hearing of people leaving dating apps and becoming disillusioned, so they're less motivated to use the apps and engage with them, which may be why you're not getting matches or responses to your messages, rather than it being anything personal to you. Also, many are having similar negative experiences on dating apps, which shows that it's not personal. The issue is, and this is point number 2, is the silence compounds the feeling of rejection and therefore the creation of this story that it's about us rather than to do with the app or bigger trends. The silence as in not hearing back from people, not getting matches, not going out on dates, or poor behaviour on the apps, but also the lack of talking about the issues that we have on the apps with friends, with family, because of fear of embarrassment or judgment, or we go the other way and overshare and write off apps altogether and say, why would we bother? Everyone on there is weird. We haven't had any good experiences. And it becomes a joke and part of a friendship group that the apps are awful, so there's no point trying. And it means that any negative story we're telling about ourselves and it being our own fault gets compounded, or putting the blame entirely on the apps because of these statistics that we've read online becomes the story as well. So if you're struggling with this, speaking to your friends about your experience and getting advice online or from friends, getting that boost and them reaffirming you and that you are a catch and that you are worthy and you are valuable will help you stop that negative story affecting your confidence or poor initial experiences feeling personal to you on the apps. Or speaking to others about their positive experiences may help keep that resilience and keep trying, even when it feels difficult. It will also make you feel less alone if you aren't getting the results that you want, because you know others are struggling with the use of the app, whether it's the algorithm or fatigue. So how do we approach apps instead? We've interrogated the data. We know that it's not about us personally. So how do we reframe how we feel about dating apps? The first action to take, we need to shift what we measure. So most people look at matches, number of messages, and number of dates. So they look at the end result and they use that to tell them something about themselves. But this is not a healthy metric to use for the reasons we've outlined so far in this video, because it's highly impacted by the algorithm, by who's using the app, and the behavior of others on the app that's outside of our control. If we want a different outcome, or to feel a different way about dating apps or dating in general, we need to focus on what is in our control. How are we showing up on the app? How emotionally vulnerable are we being? How many conversations feel enjoyable regardless of where they lead or a potential outcome? How many dates or conversations were you authentic rather than performing? These are the real metrics to use that will improve your dating life and help you meet the right person at the right time and build a genuine connection and build our confidence in who we are and how we're showing up and dating, whether that's on an app or in real life. And we just did a video on, it's not about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person. And that is a practice and a skill and something for us to learn. Dating apps are another opportunity to put that into practice. The other way to approach apps is to look at the strategy. So some people we speak to look at dating apps like a numbers game, or they look at just surface level traits. So they will match with anyone that they find attractive, or they will swipe on as many people as possible, thinking that it's a numbers game. So I'll just get as many matches as I can and then figure out later if I'm interested. And we see this more in men than in women. The issue with this is if you don't have good initial experiences with dating apps, if you then play the numbers game and try to match with as many people as possible, you're doing more of the behavior that isn't working. And that can compound negative feelings, because if we play the numbers game and still don't get the results we want, it feels even more acute. It feels like more rejection. When in reality, others may be being more selective about who they match with and who they message, based on connection, alignment of what they want out of life, whether they want a serious relationship, whether they want children or faith. So if you're playing a numbers game and just looking at how they look or swiping for as many people as possible, and your profile is being shown to people who are being more selective, again, you might feel like it's rejection, but really you weren't aligned in the first place. And if you had met this individual in person, you probably wouldn't be interested. But on the app, because you're chasing the numbers, you like them anyway to get that boost of validation, but it ends up making it worse. The better move is, rather than looking for numbers, look for connection. So look at the profiles with more discernment, like and match with people who you feel you have alignment with and you're excited about their personality and their looks, or you're open to them. There's some promise there. And treat people how you would want to be treated yourself. So use the app with more intention. And that will probably look like fewer, more aligned likes, more intention around the conversations, and being more vulnerable and open, and taking more emotional risks. Many see dating apps like a game. And because of that, we've lost some of the humanity, it feeling fine to ghost someone or not respond for a long period, or to say things to them on the app we wouldn't say in person, such as leading with sexuality or being rude or condescending or telling white lies about what we're looking for. But all of that is making the experience of dating apps worse for everyone, and is what is causing these issues and what is causing the disillusionment. So take accountability for how you're showing up on the app, your strategy you're taking, and how you're measuring success, whether that's an input metric that's in your control and how you're treating others and what you're learning from it, versus the outcome and the validation and boosting your ego. And finally, combine this with getting out more in person. Because we have the apps, many have got complacent and use that as the only way to meet people. They're not approaching in person. They're not putting themselves out there. They're doing it. They see it as the easy option, even though we're not having good experiences. So get out and meet people in person, through friends, through clubs, through things that you enjoy, and build your confidence in spaces where you can show your true self, because some people struggle to get their best version across on apps. And we're going to do a video next week on how to build your confidence for in-person dating and approaching in person if you've grown up with the apps or become too dependent on the apps and need a way to transition back. So look out for that one. So in summary, don't let the dating apps and numbers and statistics that may be stacked against you make you feel any sort of way, lower your confidence, or affect your self-worth or value. If you are struggling with dating apps, then speak to your friends about their experiences and find community in the struggles. Reflect on whether to change your strategy and change your approach, because doing more of the same thing is not going to help. And recognise that many others are feeling the same as you. There is a general disillusionment with dating apps. There are people leaving it. And especially for straight men, it may be more difficult if there are more men on the dating apps and men and women approach the apps in different ways. But there are ways to tackle that, to enjoy the apps more and focus on what you're bringing and what you're learning, and complementing that with meeting people organically and putting yourself into situations where you can meet people, which we'll go more into next week. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions or comments, or would love to hear your experience with dating apps, comment those down below. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing. That really helps the channel grow, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.